Hi there. In this video I'm going to show you a quick way of comparing two files, and I'm going to use the built-in variables called FNR and NR. I spoke about the difference between those variables in a previous video, so if you want to go back and have a look at that, then please do that before watching this one. Okay, so the two files I'm going to compare over here, there's a.text there, with those three things in it, and b.text. I'm going to compare those two files. Now over here I'm showing what's happening with the NR and the FNR variables, the built-in variables, as we step through those two files. So you can see here's the first file, a.text, here's the second file, b.text. And as I explained in the previous video, NR just carries on incrementing all the way through for this run of awk, but FNR is the file numbering, so it actually resets for each file. And that's the key to how this program that we're going to write now is going to work. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to read the first file into memory. So these three values here from the first file, the a.text file. So we'll read those into memory and we'll store them in an array in awk. Then we'll carry on and we'll read through these values which are from the second file. And each time we read one in, we'll see if that value already exists in memory in the array. So if it does, then that means we found a match between the two files. So let's get started with the coding. The first thing to do is to read through the first file and store these values into an array. So we've got a script here, and as you can see it's got no code in it at the moment, but it's reading in both the files. So the code we want looks like this. So we're saying when FNR equals NR, and you can see FNR does equal NR for all of the records in the first file. So that's the right part of the run that we're talking about. So when FNR equals NR, then create an array entry in an array I've called ARR with $1 as the index. So $1 in this case is this value here. So the index is actually the values of the data in the first file. And then I've got a next just to tell it to loop round and carry on to the next record it's going to process. If I run that now, you're not going to see much happening, but it does run. So there you are, no output yet. Now if we put just a few more lines of code in, we'll get the full solution working. So what we're saying now is we're saying if $1, so again that's these values here, exists in that array as an index, then we print out a successful message, because that means we've actually found the value that we're reading from the second file stored in the array which holds the contents of the first file. Now the interesting thing here is you can see why I had to put a next up here, because while we were reading through the first file we didn't want to process this code down here, so we wanted to make sure that it jumped back to the start again each time. Obviously once we've got past that first stage where the values of these built-in variables are the same, this code won't run, so then this code will then get a chance to run, and that's when you start doing a proper compare. Right, so now let's try running it, and we're still not getting any matches. Well, actually, there is a reason for that. If we go and have another look at the contents of a.text and b.text, we can see that they haven't got any common records, so they're not going to find anything in the compare. So I'll just quickly put in www in there, so now we've got a common record across the two. There we go. And there you are, so it's found the record that's in both files. So it's compared the two files and it's found the records that are in common. Now this is a very simple program with not many lines of code in it. So if you'd prefer to do it as a single line on a command line, then this is what it looks like. You should be able to see from that it's got the same code elements in it, it's just on one line. And if I run it, you get exactly the same result. So I hope that's been helpful and given you some ideas for how you can use awk to compare files. If you have any comments or thoughts or questions, please just leave them below this video.